You're on the John Fredericks Radio Network and the John Fredericks Radio app, and we are rolling on our Keep America bus, rolling from McDonough to Forsyth County, where that's where we'll be today. I want to thank Elaine Parker for being with us. Also joining us now, live place your calls, is Kathy Gentry. How do I say your name, Kathy? Genty? I'm going to say it wrong probably 5 times, Kathy. Genty, not Gentry. Kathy Gentry from Roswell, where I spent a quarter of a century. Started the Roswell Beacon there. Kathy remembers that.
Yes.
She used to get it in the mail. Favorite paper of all time before we went belly up. And all that bad stuff happened. But now we're back on Elaine's bus, and Elaine Parker with us. She is the president of the Keep America Action Fund. And Elaine, we're doing a radio show and we're on the move.
We are. It's pretty
exciting. Reminds me of Iowa and New Hampshire, where we were doing our show, driving out to God knows where.
Exactly.
What was the rally, or the rally we went to where they threw us out? They threw the bus out.
Oh, that was
that Pete?
Pete Buttigieg's. I can't say his name. Pete, Mayor
Buttigieg.
Buttigieg. It was at a school, so it was considered private property, or they tried to tell us it was, and we said it's not private property. It's actually public property because it's a school.
Right.
But their security asked us to leave anyway. We were just parked in the parking lot.
I remember that.
It was interesting.
Right.
We weren't even doing anything. We were actually interviewing his constituents, his people who were supporting him, and asking why, just getting a feel for what they liked about him and what they didn't like about other candidates.
All the rallies we went to, that Pete's people were the only one that threw us out.
Yeah, Bernie's people didn't throw it. Actually, we went on Bernie's bus.
Bernie was happy to have us.
Remember we went on Bernie's bus? Well, we didn't, but one of the people with us did.
Bernie had no problem with us being the fact. I got on their staff stuff, and they were actually inviting us to the rally. So they had no problem.
We interviewed some of Bernie's campaign folks too. Yeah, they were happy to talk to us.
I know. So that Pete was the only one that threw us out.
I always say that Bernie, folks like politicians like Bernie on the Democratic side, he is so wedded and deep into his beliefs, and that is the right thing, that he doesn't lie. He always tells the truth about what he wants to do, and so it's a clear choice for the American people, which is why he doesn't win, obviously. But he and AOC and the squad, they always tell the truth about what they want to do, and other politicians, like the ones running here in Georgia for Senate against Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue, don't. They hide their positions, and they change what they say in the past, because they know that the people of Georgia would not vote them in if they actually talked about those positions.
So you heard Sidney Powell and Steve Bannon. First of all, I think Bannon was pretty fired up today. He thinks there's a path forward. And Sidney Powell, she outlined, she's got the Supreme Court has taken all of her states on their docket, so they have to rule. They have to do something. But I guess the concern that I have is they just dismiss all of them, not because they don't have the evidence, because they don't want to deal with it.
I don't know that I would say it's that they don't want to deal with it. I would say that the Supreme Court is loath to decide a presidential election and to undo what's been done. It's so disappointing for me.
It is disappointing, because if what's been done was through fraud, then they're the only recourse. That's why they're there.
Right.
The Texas thing, it was all about standing. They had no standing. But now they have standing. So I just think it should be heard. I think if the case were just heard and they presented the evidence, and then they came back and it was a 5-4, and they said, there's not enough evidence to disenfranchise this many voters, I'm not sure I'd be happy, but I would be satisfied. I would be satisfied that we could go forward, right? I just want to be heard. I want to get Kathy involved. Kathy from Roswell. Kathy, we talked last night at dinner. Thanks for joining us, by the way. Your husband's from Venezuela, so you kind of understand what happens when you go the other way. But you heard Bannon today. You heard Sidney Powell. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, first, thank you for having me. And
you're welcome.
Like everyone else, I think that there's obviously a lot of interest in knowing the truth, and we're hoping, and we don't give up, and we keep trying to hear if we can know what really happened. Is really all we're looking for is answers. People are definitely very interested in the election here in Georgia, and they want to do the right thing. They want to vote and so forth, but they also want to know that their vote is going to be that it's going to be, legit, and that everything is going to be on the up and up. And so that is, obviously a concern for us Georgians here, because we want to make sure that everybody feels very confident and comfortable going out there to vote. And that's one of the reasons that we are on this bus, and we're out there trying to encourage people to get out and not give up and continue to look at this and vote. And we need that balance, and we need everyone to focus on that. We gave up when my husband and I first got married, was when actually everything started to change and the voting happened in Venezuela. And I wish that...
You were in Venezuela at the time.
Well, I was here, but my husband's family was all in Venezuela. And we were here watching. He actually voted here. We were listening and everything. And we wish that we would have had the opportunity that we're fighting here for, is to know the truth. Once that vote was done, it was like everybody just accepted it and went away. Well, here we're not accepting, and we're wanting to know and want to make sure, and we want to protect. And I think that, we have to be very grateful that we can see people still moving forward and trying to get those answers for us.
Well, the dilemma that everybody has here is you can't let these two Democratic senators win and give complete control of the government over the Democrats. We all know what a disaster it's going to be. The issue now is, how do you stop the fraud, and how do you get Trump voters out that are really pissed off because Loeffler and Perdue are not standing up, in their mind standing up for them. So those are the issues. And what really shocked me today is the fact that you got another 80,000 voters registered between November 7th and between November 3rd and December 7th. This is what the Democrats said they were going to do. They've advertised for people to come in, play golf for the weekend, vote, and leave. I don't know how many of those. But now Raffensperger, the Secretary of State, doesn't even give the list of the new voters to the respective Republican campaigns. I mean, for the life of me, why wouldn't you do that immediately?
Yeah, I don't know. And it's very concerning, and it's got a lot of people very upset and worried and concerned. And that's one of the reasons that, we got to get out there and continue to fight the fight and not surrender and let them win. But the Democrats definitely are out in fury. The commercials and everything, they're just so misleading. And so, we need to share and get out there and let everybody understand that this is an important election, probably definitely the most important election that I think that I've ever experienced in my life. And a lot of us are wanting to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to tell us the truth and to be able to ensure that our election is, correct, and that we can continue to keep the state the way that we've always had, with a lot of economic growth, with a lot of opportunity for us to be able to flourish and to, keep the American dream alive. And that's what this election really means to us.
Elaine, what do you think?
Look, if we just move past sort of the general and all of the issues around the general election, and we just look at, okay, we have a President Biden coming in on January 20th. The reason why the Senate is so important is because it will block the liberal agenda that Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer want to put through. I mean, just think about it for a second. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that was passed in 2017 has been the greatest boom to our economy. I mean, resulting in the lowest unemployment that we've seen in a generation. And small business has benefited, disproportionately from it. Not big business, small business. They've been the drivers of the economy. They've been the ones that have created the jobs. And when you hear Joe Biden promise that if you make under $400,000 a year, you will not see your taxes increase, that is exactly where small business is. It's exactly where they are. They are the job creators. And so mark my words, if you're going to implement policies that hurt job creators, you are going to hurt the people who work for them. Absolutely, because it will result in less jobs. It will result in less wage increases, less growth, less prosperity. We will be going in the opposite direction. That is exactly what happens If your boss is going to take a pay cut, I promise you're going to take a pay cut. It's just how it works. So you've got to look at what we have had for the last 4 years in terms of prosperity, in terms of opportunity, in terms of growth, in terms of, and then you can look at the stock market, look at your 401k. I mean, we've just never seen this kind of growth. And then you look at the kinds of things like the Green New Deal. I mean, what is that going to do to our energy costs, which is the source of what small businesses needs to drive their businesses? When you start looking at those kinds of costs just skyrocketing, and the industries that a Green New Deal will socialize as a result and put under complete government control. And then I can go to healthcare, as long as you all aren't too depressed listening to all of this. They want to move towards a Biden care plan. They want to double down on the failures of Obamacare with a public option. Well, let me explain. A public option is government run. There is not a company, not an organization, not a person, not an individual who can ever compete with the government, because they don't have to make a profit. They just keep printing more money and taking more money from the American people. So there is no company that can compete with them. Once that public option comes along, the insurance companies won't be able to compete. And the young, healthy people that are in the insurance plans right now will go into the public option, the free public option, and they will leave the sick and elderly people in the insurance plans, and we will see that insurance death spiral. And that is how we will end up in a single-payer system. That's the slow way. The fast way is moving right to Medicare for all, which is what Bernie Sanders and AOC and folks like that want, a single-payer system. So we can go either way, whether it's the local train with the Biden care or the express train. They are headed to the same direction, the same destination, and that is to put us in socialized, single-payer, government-run healthcare. And for that reason alone, Senator Loeffler and Senator Perdue have got to be reelected. They've got to maintain their seats, because they are the firewall. They are absolutely the firewall to keeping that from happening. Now that I've thoroughly depressed everybody, on the flip side, we could actually have a functioning government with a Republican Senate. Because guess what? Nancy Pelosi fully admitted last week that she would not agree to any relief measures because she didn't want to give Trump any kind of wins or victories. That's why she's been she's normally difficult, but she's been so difficult to compromise with. She doesn't compromise on anything. She will want to give a President Biden victories, which will bring her to the table so that all American voices are heard, and they will be heard in the Senate, with Mitch McConnell leading the Senate, because Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue get reelected. And that's how all of our voices will be heard. Single party rule is not what we want in this situation. It is not what we want. We need to have all American voices heard.
So, this just in from Antrim County, it appears that a judge has ruled with the Secretary of State, and the information will not be released. I just got that. Somebody just texted that to me. Somebody can check into the verification of that. I think that was just handed down. But that would be another loss in a string of like 100 losses.
I don't understand. I mean, if it's the law, how can it not be released?
Why don't this is another judge that now says we're not going to release information to the public. I mean, that the guy's just got to leak it. He's just got to leak it out. Unbelievable. Now, I'm not sure. I don't have that confirmed. But, But look, Elaine, you're right. I mean, we said this in our conversation last night. The Democrats hate small businesses. I mean, they hate entrepreneurs. I mean, small businesses don't vote for them. They don't give them any money. Unbelievable.
Yeah, look, the reality is the small business owners, there's 30 million of them in this country. They employ 60 million people. They create 2/3 of all new jobs. They employ half our workforce. The impact that the small business community has on this country economically is huge. And then you look at the non-economic impacts. I mean, you just ask somebody, you know, do you own a small business? Do you know someone who owns a small business? Do you shop at a small business? And you see how much small businesses touch our lives. I mean,
the Democrats hate small
but
businesses.
the Democrats don't care about them because they
They
can't
don't,
control them.
and
There's too many of
them. They don't
them.
vote for them. They don't give them any money. They all voted for Trump, and so they like big corporations like Walmart that they can push around.
Exactly. It's one unit. It's one unit, one entity to control. Small business owners are independent thinkers. They there's 30 million of them, so they can't be controlled in any one big block.
Yeah. So the Democrats would be happy if they all went under, right? They don't care about the jobs that they create or the money that they pump into the economy. They just want them out so they can have power. All right, let's get to the phone lines. We have a caller because our receiver end of it is not working. If you could state your name and your city, you're live, and we're on the bus. Go ahead.
Are you listening to me?
Yes, sir. I need your name and your city.
Mechanicsville?
Rick from Mechanicsville. Okay.
Rick from Mechanicsville, yeah. Paul Thiel's my mentor. John, real quick,
Jeez.
couple things. The Supreme Court said that Paxton didn't have standing, but as I recall, before the court made that decision, that President Trump joined the suit, and certainly Trump is an aggrieved party and had standing. Mm-hmm. Second point is this: I mean, the Supremes use standing as a chicken way to get out of hearing a case.
Yep.
And all the courts seem to be doing that. Now, here's the other thing. The court doesn't even realize that the Constitution itself is in peril if they don't listen to one of these cases. They're supposed to protect and defend, and they're obviating that responsibility. And here's another thing: wasn't this the same Supreme Court that was able to turn a fee into a tax in order to find Obamacare constitutional?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
it seems to me that they could have given the Paxton case even less controversially standing. And that's it. Go ahead and see if anybody has any comments for that. And for having your show, man, it's great.
Well, Rick, thank you. Look, it was very disappointing that SCOTUS punted this, and that's really what they did. They punted it. I was very disappointed by that. I just want a hearing, and I want the evidence to get out. We still haven't confirmed the Antrim, Michigan ruling. Now I've got two people saying the exact opposite, so I can't say anything else. One caller said he ruled no. The other one, Mike Smith from Michigan, just texted in and says that the judge is releasing it. So if somebody could just confirm this to me, I'd appreciate it, because I've got two conflicting callers saying two different things. And Mike Smith from Michigan, if you want to call in, you said you just saw it, that it is being released, so maybe the other caller from Charlotte misinterpreted. 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646, and you can't call my mobile because I can't get you on the air. So Mike, so you can't call my mobile. Call 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646, and that would be helpful. And also got Barbara in South Carolina says, I just listened to the Wisconsin hearing. Chief Justice ruled the report can be released today with redaction of actual Dominion source code and some redactions within graphs. So that seems to be good news. And okay, so the judge is now releasing it to the public. So the first call that I had was, I guess, misheard it. And now we understand they are releasing it. And the judge said they're going to redact two graphs. So we have one caller, I believe. Do we have a caller on from Michigan? Go ahead. You're live. Maybe not. Okay. We don't. All right, sorry about that. All right, we're going to check into this when we get back. 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. But now it appears that Michigan judge has ordered this information released. Not exactly what we heard immediately. So, John Fredericks Radio Network, we'll be right back. Stay with us.